All right. Okay, here we go. Now, as we look at, I don't want you to spend time doing these warm-up problems, but I would like for you to just tell me how you would find the volume of these figures, okay? I'll just read them to you because while the thing is coming up. Okay, if I had a box in the shape of a cube that had a side length of 6 inches, how would I find the volume? First of all, because I said it's a cube, what does that mean? All of the sides are what? The same. So base times width times height would just be 6 times 6 times 6, right? Okay, we're not going to spend time on that. Okay, if I had a cone that had a radius of 12 and a height of 22, could you figure that out? Yes. Okay, if I had a sphere that had a radius of 8 and I was going to find the volume, could you figure that out? Yes, you could. Okay, I don't need to spend time on the warm-up because I know you know how to do this stuff. All right, so let's start with, okay, some things that you need to know vocabulary-wise. Okay, composite solid, which we already talked about what that is, right? It's basically just two or more solids coming together to form one, and there's not going to be a specific volume formula to solve for that. You're going to have to decompose it, okay? All right. So if I had some kind of a figure, okay? We're not going to watch that. Let's say I have a figure of some composite solids, meaning one or more solids put together, okay? First thing I need to do when I have a figure like this is I need to decompose what I have, okay? I'm gonna copy this real quick, and then I'm gonna take us back to that other screen, okay? And we will try to decompose this figure. All right, so if I was to look at this figure right here, okay, first thing I know, what is this figure made up of?
A cylinder and a cone.
Okay, I have a cylinder, which, do you understand how to find the volume of a cylinder?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And then you have a cone. Do you understand how to find the volume of a cone? Yes, you do. So what would that tell me that I need to do here? I need to find the volume of the cylinder first, and then find the volume of the cone. Is there enough information for me to do that? Okay. Well, first of all, let's do the cylinder. Okay? And if you can remind me, what is the formula for volume of a cylinder? Volume equals
Pi r squared
times height. Okay. So all we're looking at to start with is this part. We're not concerned with the cone yet, right? So I'm not given a radius here. What am I given? I'm given a diameter. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. The volume equals, we're going to replace pi with what? 3.14. My radius is not going to be an 8. What's that going to be? 4 squared. And what's the height of this? Now, the only height that we're concerned with here is what?
4.
This part, right? So this is 4. Okay? So volume equals 3.14. We're going to deal with this exponent first. So times 16 times 4. Okay? If we multiply all of those, what did we get? 200.96. So let's round that 200.96. Let's just round that up to about 201. Okay, that's an easier number to work with. So volume is about 201 feet cubed. Okay, and we found the volume of this part, right? Well, here's the thing. On a cylinder, you might say, well, I don't have this measurement right here, this dimension. But in actuality, do you?
Yeah.
You have the volume. You have the dimension of this circle, which is a diameter of 8. So technically, do I have the dimension of this circle?
Yeah.
And I'm not really needing a diameter. I'm going to have a radius. What's my radius going to be? Okay. So how do I find volume of a cone?
Volume equals 3.14 radius squared times height divided by 3.
Pi times radius squared times height divided by what? By what?
3.
By 3. Okay. So let's plug in what we have here. We have 3.14 times, what's the radius?
4.
4 squared. Now, why can't I just use this one? What's different?
No. Oh, the height.
My height on this one is 4. What's my height on this one? 5. Okay. So this is going to be times 5. All right. So this is 3.14 times 16 times 5. and all of that's going to be divided by 3. So let's do that real quick. Okay, we'll do 3.14 times 16 times 5, and that is 251.2, and we divide that by 3, and what do we get? 83.7. And let's go ahead. Remember, we're going to work with whole numbers here because those are easier. So the volume is about 84 what? Feet cubed. Now, what am I going to do with this and this? Add them together. So if I put those together, I have 201 plus 84. That would give me a total volume of this figure to be about 285 what? Cubic feet, or feet cubed. Okay, and again, it's going to be about, because we're rounding and we're using pi. Okay? Does that make sense how we found that? It's not that difficult, is it? Okay? Almost. It's not a worksheet. All right, so let's get rid of all of that. Okay, we'll go back to this one. All right, let's look at our next example. Okay, if I was going to find the volume of this solid, okay, what is this made up of? This is a rectangular prism and a what? Not a hemisphere, but a half a cylinder, okay? So give it a shot. Let's see if you can find the volume of this object. Try it on your own. I'll give you a few moments to try that one.
Never mind, I'm not doing that. Wait, go back.
I'm going to put it up here, guys. Don't worry. Okay. You want me to do this one with you?
No.
Okay, first of all, I know that I have a rectangular prism.
Wow, that's a big one.
And I have a half cylinder. Let's find the volume of this rectangular prism first, okay? So that volume equals base times width times height. We're only concerned with this bottom. Well, how many dimensions do I have there? Base times width times height. So that would be volume equals 50 times 25 times 30, right? Well, if you multiply those, 50 times 25 times 30, what did we get? 37,500. Okay? And that's centimeters what? Cubed. Okay? Now, the other thing we have here is a cylinder. Okay? Now, this cylinder is turned on its side. So, if you look at these 3 dimensions, okay, my formula for volume of a cylinder is what? Pi r squared times height, right? Well, the pi is going to be replaced with 3.14. Now, when I have the radius, okay, think about this. The radius is going to be from here to the outside, right? Well, I only know that this is 25 and this is 25. So what's my radius going to be? 12.5. Okay, does everybody understand where that came from? Does everybody understand where that came from?
Yes.
Okay, now this cylinder is turned on its side. Okay, so my height is going to be from here up to here. Well, which dimension would that be? This would be the 50. The 30 wouldn't really have anything to do with this cylinder, would it? Okay, so my height is going to be what? 50, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and this is all going to be divided by 2. Why am I dividing this by 2? Okay, because it's a half a cylinder, but we're not going to do that yet. Let's find the volume of this cylinder as if it was a whole cylinder, okay? So let's do first, what is 12.5 times 12.5?
165.25.
Okay, so we'll say 3.14 times 156.
No, wait, 160.
Yeah, 156.25. And we're going to multiply that times 50, right? Yeah, whatever's left up there you can use. You know what, I have some more. Here, I have a couple here too. Is that enough?
That's plenty.
Okay.
That is plenty. Thank
All right.
you.
Of course. Okay, so let's multiply these. 3.14 times 156.25 times 50. Okay. So volume equals 24,000. We'll just say about 531. So we don't have to deal with decimals, okay?
I
Make sense? And that's centimeters cubed. Now, we're still going to do what with this? Divide it by 2 because we're talking about a half cylinder here. So if we divide this by 2, what do we get? About 12,265.
How did I do this wrong?
I got 7,800.
In the total thing, I got
Yeah, that is definitely not
459
24,000.
million.
I got 19.
Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again, see where we went wrong. 3.14 times 156.25 times 50 does indeed equal 24,531. Okay, so this is correct. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to add this to this, right? So we're going to add these together.
That's why.
I definitely did like the whole 3/4.
I'm so confused.
You add y.
And we got about, the volume of this figure would be about 49,765 centimeters cubed.
348.
Okay? Do you see how I got that answer?
Kind of. Confusing.
Okay. All right, let's take a look. All right.
I got 240.
Okay, let's take a look at the next one here.
I like 4 million.
Okay, this next one, okay, it's a different kind of solid, but we would still be able to find this. Okay, what we're happening here, okay, this is like a cylinder inside of a cube. Okay? Now, if you listen, okay, Tanya uses cube-shaped beads to make jewelry. Each bead has a circular hole through the middle. Find the volume. So, now, without spending a ton of time on this, okay, we would find the volume of this entire cube and find the volume of this cylinder. But what would we do with, last time we put them together, right? What would we do on this one? You would subtract it. Okay, does that make sense? Because you're basically finding the volume of this whole thing minus this. This is like the hole through the middle. Okay? Does that make sense?
What's the height?
Okay. Do we need to do that or do we understand?
Yeah, we understand.
Okay, and Mikey, you said what's the height? This is a cube, so this is 12, 12, 12.
Oh.
Okay? All right, so let's figure out how we can find the volume of this. What would we have here?
2 cones.
We have 2 cones. All you would have to do is find the volume of each cone and do what?
Divided by 3.
And put them together, okay? All right. This one is a bit different, okay? All this is a what?
A basketball.
Cylinder and a cylinder.
Cylinder and a sphere. Do you know how to find the volume of a cylinder?
Yes.
Do you know how to find the volume of a sphere?
Yes.
All you have to do is find those volumes and do what?
Yes.
Put them together. Okay?
Rolling creeks.
No, it's just like a business back where I come
Okay,
from.
this one,
Back where you come from.
you have this one, what do we have here?
A dome. A snow
It's
globe.
half a sphere. It's a hemisphere on
A cylinder and a
hemisphere.
hemisphere. Okay? Put those together.
Snow globe.
It's just a fake.
It's half a sphere.
Okay, do I need to do these examples or do you understand how to find these? Okay, then I'm going to show you what you're going to do.